I am. Benny! Did you hear that?
Just as I was about to start, Benny goes,
Go over there.
what the fuck?
Go over there. Go under your sofa. You like going under the sofa now.
Hey everyone, it's Niall and Tomas from niallpointspod. We are back with another podcast, and this time we're going to review the Festivali I Këngës 63, the Albanian national final in its entirety. We've obviously already reviewed the winning song by Shkodra Elektronik, which is going to Eurovision 2025. Super exciting. But we thought that a lot happened during FIC that we could do a full podcast on it, right?
Yeah, a little debrief.
Yeah, I feel like we had a lot of really great songs this year. So yeah, let's do a little debrief of FICMAS 63, like the fans like to call it. Before we get into the podcast, do remember that you can go to niallpoint.com, link for which you'll find something here, somewhere around there, should be there. Where you can find all the links to the podcast, our YouTube channel, our social medias, as well as mine and Neil's personal social medias on Instagram and Blue Sky. So make sure to go to this link and check out all those links. So yeah, let's get into FIC 63.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to ask, we obviously know we're both happy with the winner. Was it your winner?
You see, no, it was my second place studio. I've kind of made a little list for myself pre live show, because I obviously did a short review on Blue Sky when the songs came out.
Oh yes, of course.
And I had Shkodra Elektronik second in that list, and I meant to sort of just adjust my top, whatever it was, 30. I don't know how many songs there were. I meant to just sort of adjust it according to whether or not I liked the live performances. But then some of these songs that I really liked ended up really under delivering, so to speak. And then others that I had sort of forgotten about sort of really delivered on the night. And I was like, okay, maybe I should just make two separate lists, because I'm too invested in my personal winner to just put him down to 12th place or something just because I didn't like the live version.
So who was your personal winner?
My personal winner studio cut then was Jet with the song Jal or Gyal. I don't know how to pronounce it. I love that song, and it was the first song from the national final that I actually added to my playlist. It was
praise indeed.
Because that doesn't really happen to me often, that I add songs from national finals to my playlist this early on in the season. Usually it takes me a while to get used to songs, but that one I just loved instantly. So that was my favorite. Like I said, Sherm was second for me. Funny thing though, after the live performances, I actually had Sherm fourth. So it kind of went down a little bit in my top. Not because the live performance wasn't any good or anything, but just because some songs that I already quite liked were really good live, that they sort of surpassed them just slightly.
Yeah.
But
I didn't listen to any of the studio, and I only watched the final night. So I'm interested to know what you thought did better, what sort of felt elevated in the live show, because some of them might have felt elevated, but I was watching being like, what the fuck is this going on?
Yeah, I'd have to check my list here.
Thomas and his lists.
I keep forgetting names, especially when it's foreign names. I can't pronounce them, let alone remember them.
No, that's fair.
So obviously Jet, unfortunately, kind of disappointed me live. And here's the thing, it's not that he was bad live. He was still pretty good.
I thought he was all right.
But it's just that everyone else, but literally every single one of them delivered live. There was hardly a bum note in that entire live show. I saw someone on Blue Sky saying, is it a thing that every Albanian person can sing? Or what's going on here? because it was just so good. So naturally, if you do have a little bit of a pitchy note here and there, you're gonna get in trouble. And I think he barely came top 10.
He got 9th. He got 11 points. He got 10 from the jury and 1 from SMS.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of people. We'll get into that later. A lot of people really got very few points from televote. I thought that was wild.
We need to talk about the delivery of that as well at some point. It was fantastic.
But yeah, I was sort of like, okay, I do think it was harsh. I don't think a 9th or 10th place was deserved. I think he still deserved better than that. But like I said, if you don't sing it pitch perfect in a strong bunch of vocalists like this was, then you're going to get in trouble. And sadly, that was the case, because I think he got one of the highest ratings, studio cut. So that was sadly a bit disappointing. 2 songs that I already really liked before the live show were the song from Alice and the song from Lorenz Hasrama. I don't know if you remember those two. It's the guy with a long beard and then the guy with a long hair.
I thought Lorenz was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought he was the best male vocalist of the night, in my opinion. He was fantastic.
He probably was. He probably was. But like both him and Alice really delivered, and those were 2 songs that I already really liked. And I actually put those 2 as my top 2 live performances of the night. I just thought that was insane. Sadly, Lorenz's staging was a bit basic. Obviously, I don't know what else he could have,
wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know what else he could have done except maybe put something else on than a black suit and tie. It's not the kind of song.
Basic suit. Like,
yeah, it was.
I saw friend of the podcast, Dude, tweeted this or tweeted it. Stop putting men in basic black suits. And I've got to agree.
True, but he still came 3rd, so he still did. No, he didn't. Alice came 3rd. Sorry, he came 5th. But it's still a pretty decent result for him. So yeah,
Alice
those were
3rd. Alice, I wasn't too sure on.
I saw that. Yeah,
it wasn't bad. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. It just didn't. I don't know if it's just the previous 14 songs. If it was because he was last, I just sort of tuned out a little bit at some point. Because I did sort of look up, and there was sort of like a cult thing going on my screen, and I was like, this is interesting. But the song just didn't grab me.
People with like the white hoodies, like the hooded.
I know, and that's a fashion. That's a difficult one to pull off. In this day and age.
I don't think it's a fashion thing. I think it's just a sort of a vibe, sort of like an eerie vibe that they were going for. I liked it.
Thomas doesn't get what I mean, but it's okay. I'll explain.
I do get what you mean. But like you called it like a fashion thing, like.
It's still fashion at the end of the day, isn't it? What do we think then of Elvana Yatta, who came 2nd with Carnival? Let's get into it, because I think you've got some controversial opinions.
No, look. I said studio cut. I called this, and I still stand by that. I call this very, very unoriginal. It's just another. But you know what? I said the same thing last year about this year about Malta's entry, and I ended up loving that one. So, I'm already redeeming myself here a little bit. I just genuinely think that that's a very basic pop song. You can fly down from the sky. You can have all the pyrotechnics that you want. You can have crazy outfits, dancers, dance breaks, as much as you want. But that doesn't take away the fact that it's a very basic pop song. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it. I still think it was a bop, and it was fun to listen to. But I was like, I really do not want another one of those at Eurovision. I just don't.
When you looked at her staging, it was like she had studied performances by Chanel, Sarah Bondici, even Celia Capsis. It was like she had studied them and be like, right, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I'm taking that, I'll take this. And then it felt like she didn't quite do them as well either. there was sort of a flip at one point. I was like, well, Sarah Padici can do that blindfolded,
Yeah, exactly. You see, that's my point. If you're good, because it was just another song with a dance break. If you're going to do a song with a dance break, we said this last year with Malta's entry. They sort of revamped their Benny behind you. He was just behind you. She sort of revamped her dance break and made it a lot better and a lot more unique than it was in the national final. So who knows that Alvana might have done the same. But if you're going to do dance break, make sure that it's something that okay, she did fly down from the sky.
Yeah, but she's not going to do that at Eurovision. They don't have
They had an acrobat for one of the Azerbaijani entries. So she was hanging from the. I think it also depends on what is possible in the venue, maybe how high the venue is and stuff like that. But to continue, that was my issue with the song. Not that it's a bad song per se. It was just 13 and a dozen. Heard it 1,000 times before. But I also ended up posting yesterday, and I was so annoyed at myself that it was starting to grow on me.
Oh, right.
I was like, oh God, I'm starting to like this. Why am I starting to like this? But I'm still happy that
because it's still a good pop. It's still a pop song. I think it was a ready meal of pop songs. That's how I've got it. You don't sort of what you're saying there. You don't want to like it, but it ends up being a little bit tasty. But it still just doesn't give you that same enjoyment as a proper home cooked meal would. This is a weird analogy that I got myself.
I thought you were going to say a roast dinner. I was waiting for you to say roast dinner.
No, it's nearly Christmas. I've been talking a lot about the food before we started recording this. Speaking of dance breaks, I mentioned Ardit. I loved that. It was so bad, but so good all at the same time. It reminded me of me at any wedding, to be honest. Give me enough liquor and I'll be up doing that dance break. It was a lot of fun, though.
It was.
And I will give them that. It was a really enjoyable performance. And he gave it his all. And I can forgive
and good vocals again.
Yeah, and even if they weren't perfect or the song wasn't perfect, I've said this before, and I might need to get this tattooed on me. I don't know, but I can forgive a lot for the vibes, and the vibes here were good. I loved how it made me feel, and it was quite difficult. I think coming straight after Orgesa with Ipare, which is quite another big song. To still make an impact. I thought that was quite good.
Do you have the list of where everybody finished? Do you know where he?
Yes, he was 7th.
That's respectable out of 30 something entries. That's a good result for him.
I
also kind of think that because I did prefer this. I mean, obviously it was also just a pop song with a dance break. It's not like it was more special than Elvana's song. I think a lot of people will argue that it was not as good as Elvana's song, but that's a personal thing. But maybe for me, what worked for me here is the fact that it wasn't a pop girly with a bunch of half-naked male dancers. It was a pop boy with a bunch of female dancers. It was switched around, and that was sort of okay, well, we haven't seen that a lot at Eurovision, so that could be fun.
I've also
even though it's still a very basic pop song, obviously.
Yeah, so that thing where you add your personality into it, I think, and I feel like this did have just a bit more personality. I also enjoy a really poor reveal. So reveal of taking the jacket off and wearing a sleeveless top is hilarious. What a reveal! So revolutionary. Really good. Mentioned it there and. Orgesa, I did actually quite enjoy that. She came 8th, but I felt like there was a staging issue.
I'm trying to remember the staging here.
At one point, she moved her mic stand away from her and just stood still. This is the one with all the kids in the background and they point. Ipare.
I remember the song, and I remember watching the performance and thinking, "Ooh, this is a lot better than I thought." But I can't remember that staging.
Interesting.
We saw a lot of songs.
It was quite forgettable staging, I will say that. Let's get into some of the not so good ones. Let's talk about Steen. Steen got 0 points.
I don't remember it.
Came out in a hoodie and sunglasses. Also, do we need to talk about what's going on with sunglasses in Albania this year?
They kept coming.
Everyone came on, and they were a different shape, different colors. Like,
and then you had that one guy. Which one was it that just had like the plain glasses? And I thought, well, that's original.
Oh, Algert.
Yeah, which, by the way, was also a good song. I really liked that one as well.
Yeah, Steen, I'm not sure. It was sort of like kind of rappy, kind of trying to be like pops. I didn't.
Yeah. And then the song didn't fit the outfit at all, I thought. I was like...
I don't know how they let him in the building. I thought Vic had a dress code. Like, because then you also had the guy at the start who was just walked in wearing like red sunglasses and a Liverpool top.
Yeah.
What was that about? Like, I know Liverpool...
And he was really performing as if he was at like the Super Bowl or something. And I thought... This is weird. I just kept feeling that this is a very weird performance. I didn't get it.
I mean, a lot of this show was weird. Where you need to just say that out there. A lot of people didn't like it, but I did. I want to talk about Lark. Giametti Edit. They came 6th overall. Yeah. It's the sort of like there was a Pope on stage. It looked like a Pope on stage. It was sort of like a middle-aged man and then a young band around them. Like, I don't know. It wasn't the best one, but I enjoyed the performance a lot of that. I would listen.
Do you know what? I genuinely didn't dislike that performance either. That was just one of the ones that I thought, like, even though, I mean, they all performed well. So let's put that out of the way, because you can say I enjoyed that performance. They did a good job. Yeah, but all of them did. And that was one where I was like, how did this qualify? Because like some of I wouldn't say my absolute favorites, but some songs that I had in my top 10 didn't make it. And I ended up looking back performances of them, and I was like, okay, this makes no sense to me why this didn't qualify and some of the others did. But then when I started watching the jury voting, I was already thinking like, yeah, whatever.
Before we get into voting, do you have any controversial takes that you want to share about any of the acts or any of the songs?
I think I've shared mine about Elfana. I think that's probably mine. I do kind of still, before you mention yours, I do want to say that because we talked about which ones surprised you. Besa Smolica.
Oh, Lutem.
That one had gone completely over my head, studio cut, and I was watching that and I was like, how come I didn't like the studio cut? I was like, why didn't I like this? Because this is so good. But she performed the hell out of that song.
Yes.
That was a really, really good performance. And she came, was it like 4th, I think?
4th, yes.
She did really, and I was like, good on her. That was well deserved.
Yeah, she did really well with the juries.
Yeah.
Not so much with the public, but no one did well with the public unless your name's Shodra or Ivana.
Yeah, 2 of them did well with the public and the rest just completely flopped.
It was an interesting vote. And before we get into the voting, my controversial opinion is I did not dislike Mal's performance of Antihero.
Look, babes, that is not a controversial opinion, because literally everyone on Blue Sky was saying, how on earth did he win last year and now he has the better song, better performance, and he completely flopped? That was do you know what it was? Studio cut. I couldn't figure out what to think about the song. I knew that I liked it, but then I also thought like, oh, this is so strange in a way. I couldn't like quite put my finger on it why it felt strange to me, but I was like, this is unlike anything that I've ever heard, or maybe it's just his voice that goes along with the song. Yeah. That's sort of like he's got a really interesting vocal. His vocal on the night was really good, and I screamed with laughter when he thanked the public in that rock voice. Did you see that?
He's got quite a deep voice, doesn't he?
But I didn't expect him to shout something like that. That was funny. But yeah, no, not controversial, babe. That was a good performance.
Oh well, I thought it was controversial. I didn't see a lot of love for it. I was quite surprised that it only came 12th. Actually, only got 4 points from the juries, 1 from the diaspora, nothing from the SMS vote. But I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really decent song.
Yeah.
Do I understand why he was dressed as a matador? No. Was I complaining that he was dressed as a matador? Not particularly. It wasn't too bad. Did I immediately go and look at his Instagram and see what I could see? Yes, I did. He's an attractive boy. I've seen somewhere like he's a nipple baby. I don't know how accurate that is.
He's a what?
A nipple baby. So I think he's got like a famous family. A bit like Benjamin Ingrosso gets accused of being a nipple baby because he's got famous parents and stuff.
Okay, I see. I mean, if you got the talent, who cares?
Yeah, we all know Benji's got the talent. Mal last year, I don't know if he had the talent from what I saw from his winning performance.
I mean, Mal was his performance in itself last year was good. I just didn't care for the song.
Right.
But his vocal was
I don't,
from what I can remember, was good.
Remember Vic 62. I've got to say I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say Vic 63 was way better than some of the last previous years. Like, I was really surprised with the quality of the songs this year.
Yeah. I felt like the whole production was really good, and we've also got the new creative director, don't we?
Elida
Dani. I the only bit that I really didn't like of this, was at the end she came out and did a speech, and her breathing was so heavy.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying about that. I think she was really nervous. Because I think right before she started doing her speech, she did like this. She was doing this to the camera. She's like, "Oh, I'm so nervous." And I was like, "Oh my god, so cute." So I think she was just very, and also a little bit emotional. She was emotional at times as well. So
yeah, but I think she did a good job. Obviously, there's budgetary things going on as well. You know, you can't do amazing stuff all the time, and that explains a lot of the reclama that just comes up randomly when anyone ever starts a performance. There's just an advert for Vodafone 5G or whatever. Also, it makes us understand a bit more about why there's just a 10-minute ad break every 45 minutes. Yeah. But no, that was the only thing I didn't really like, was just the every time she spoke, it was giving me a panic attack. A little bit. It was difficult, but then she did her performance and she was really good as well.
Yeah.
I still think they could have sent the two hosts doing their little interval song. Pedro and Mansley are not, but they gave it their all. What did you think?
That was playback, surely. That wasn't live.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say yes or no, but I think so. But I thought it was fun, and it was a nice little bit for the final anyway. But we talk about the voting because it was wild. So the first thing we get jury votes. So there's 7 jury members. They give us 6 jury members' votes and then show us the totals, and then go to the last jury member and then show us totals again. Which was
just creating suspense, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a fact that it was maybe. I think it was maybe impossible for Carnival to go above.
At that point, yeah.
To go above his Scherm. So that might be why they did it in that sort of old-fashioned way where Eurovision used to, declare a winner and then continue on with the jury voting.
The thing is, it wasn't impossible because it wasn't, because after 6 votes, I think they were about.
Yeah, they only ended up 4 points.
I think around 6 or 7 points behind.
Okay,
so depending on if Škoda Elektronika would have not gotten any votes or very few votes from the last juror, she could have surpassed them. So
yeah, okay, so that's that theory out the window. I honestly just don't know why they did that. It was maybe the last juror was in the toilet and they were like, we need to fill time.
Was that also the first time that they did that? Because I can't remember them doing that previous years, actually showing the voting. Because usually they just sort of announce the top 3, don't they?
I think they've done the jurors before. Then I think they've done more of like the San Remo thing where they just add the points on for public. I'm not sure. I've not always watched
that.
But I remember seeing something where they give out points like that. I don't know. Anyway, it was a runaway success for Giam and Carnival. Anyway, Giam got 4 out of 7 12s, with Carnival getting the rest, and then the only 8 points went to Carnival. That's one of the only reasons that it wasn't closer in the end in the jury votes.
If we look at these jury votes, did you think or maybe that's just along the lines of my controversial opinion about Elvana Gyata's song, I was really shocked that she was getting all these 10s and 12s, and I thought, you've got Alice there, you've got Lorenz there, you've got all these great vocalists, great songs, like really personal, original songs that were so well performed, and yet you went with the generic pop song with the woman flying from the air. Look, she was a lovely girl. Like, she seemed really lovely. No offense to her, but I was kind of expecting the jury to go more for a different kind of song.
Yeah,
that sort of surprised me.
It was only Janida who didn't give her the 12 points or 10 points. Janida gave her 8.
Gave 8.
And then 10 to Alice.
Yeah.
Got to say, she still looks exactly the same, Janida. I think there's a little bit of work being done, but she looks amazing anyway. Why are you doing that face?
I don't know. It's just funny that you said that. I'm trying to think 2019 if she looked different. I don't think she really looked different.
No, I think she's been made to look the same currently.
I mean, that's only 4 years ago. She wouldn't have aged that much in 4 years.
No, but okay. I'm not going to break down a woman on semi-respected podcast.
Semi-respected.
I know that's over the top, isn't it? We need to talk, because I found these so funny. The diaspora on the SMS vote was hilarious. It felt like Eurovision 2021 all over again, but on crack.
Yeah.
So in the diaspora voting, they did that first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 acts got 0 points. 3 got 1 point. 1 got 2 points, and the rest was for Shkodra and Elvana. But it was just the way they went 0 points too. It just kept going, and you're like, surely there's got to be a point somewhere.
I genuinely thought that there was something going on with the score, but I thought it's glitching, and they just keep handing out 0 points accidentally, and then no, someone's actually got 1 point now. So this is it
was like. I felt it was so weird to watch, because it's just like, it was like Oprah going, you get a 0, you get a 0, everybody gets a 0. It was absolutely.
They should. Someone should make that meme. Someone has to do that and post that. Let's do that. That was kind of wild, and I don't really understand. So here's the thing. Like, obviously, so we had 50% juries and 25 diaspora and 25 SMS vote. But how did they calculate the points? Did they actually go quite literal, you got so many votes and you only got so many votes, so you get this many points, you get this many points?
Yes.
Because I thought it would have been maybe less traumatic and a bit fairer had they just gone with a ranking of the 15 songs. This is how the 15 songs ranked at the televote. You get 1 point, you get 2, you get 3, you get 4, and then just go up to 15 or something.
So they did proportional. So they did do it proportionally. That does help to sort of encourage the televote to get a little bit more involved. But yeah, it was odd when you look at it according to according to the Wikipedia page, approximately 73% of the vote came from the jury, despite the proportional, 14% from the diaspora, and 13% from the SMS. I think just the way it worked with the proportionality, you know, I don't fully understand how that works, if it's just because of how the points fell that the average goes down, but it was meant to be 50-50, but I think just the way averages work. But at that point, we then get to the big points. So we get the 23 comes up and it goes to Skodra, and then 42 points go to Elvana. So at that point, you said in our group chat, well, Elvana's got this then.
Because I thought because that was like a point difference then of about 15 or 16 points. Yeah. And I was kind of figuring, okay, so there was about 18, 19 points difference between them with the diaspora. And especially because here's something that I also don't understand. When the SMS vote came along, which was also 25%, just like diaspora, a lot less songs got 0 points. I think 3 or 4 of them got 0, and then we had a couple of 1s and a couple of 2s.
So 6 points got 0.
Oh, still 6.
Six songs got 0 points. We then got 2 with 1 point, 1 with 2 points. 2 with 2 points, 1 with 3 points, 1 with 4 points, and 1 with 6 points.
And then how many did Elvana get then?
So Elvana then got 19.
Oh, only 19. Okay.
Skodra got electronic, got 42. So in the end, it was a points difference of 8, 135 points to 143. But what you've got to look at as well is the third place act only got 59 points.
Yeah.
I also love the fact they had bronze, silver, and gold trophies. I liked that. That was a nice touch. Yeah. I don't know if they always
because they are one of the few national finals that actually still. Also, we should say that this is not, a little bit like San Remo. This is not a contest that has been made solely for the purpose of finding someone to represent them at Eurovision. That was made clear last year when the winner didn't actually get the chance to go to Eurovision, because that privilege was given to the winner of the televote, which was Bessa. This year, obviously, the winner was allowed to go, but that does kind of show you that this is a very much a song contest on its own.
Well, yes, because
that they just sort of use simultaneously as a way of, we need to send someone to Eurovision anyway, might as well.
Well, we need to, if we think about it, it was this was the 63rd contest, and Albania didn't appear in Eurovision until 2004. So yeah, this has been going since before that. It's only a few years younger than Eurovision itself. Yeah. Which is quite interesting. But so they have been competing since 2004. Their best score is 106 points in 2012, finishing 7th place. Yeah. What do we think? Do we think it's got a chance? They've got a chance of bettering that? I've got a feeling they could. It just depends if people like it or not, doesn't it? Really.
It depends on that, and it also depends on what the other countries are going to send. Like if we would be somewhere in March or April right now, where we have a lot more songs, we could give a more accurate, prediction. And predictions are never accurate anyway. But
sorry,
I think they could.
Sorry, I'm wrong. I was reading the wrong bit. They came 5th in 2012. I don't know. Yeah. I read, not 7th. Just to correct myself there. Yeah. They've participated every year since, and they've only managed to qualify 11 out of 20.
That's still
it's still more than half. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do. But I thought it was a really good show.
I mean, do you know what it is? Is that the quality of the songs gets better and better at Eurovision as well, as we've seen in recent years. This year was ridiculously strong. And then it also becomes harder to get that top 5, because obviously if they want to do better, they'd have to come top 4, which I still think is possible with this entry if they play their cards right. but it's going to depend on so many factors. So
yeah,
we're just going to have.
Yeah, let's not do predictions, Len. Do we have any other thoughts to close out a debrief on Festivali I Këngës?
No, not really.
We've got it all, haven't we?
Yeah, I just again, just really, really surprised with the quality this year. I thought it was a good show, but more important than that, it was just a lot of really good songs. Like, I think at the end of the day, I have added, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 songs to my playlist, which is quite a lot for one national final, even if you do have 30 songs.
Quite a lot for you as well. You're quite stingy when it comes to that. I will say, as much as the voting we just discussed was messy, it was quite good for tension.
Oh,
like, I had no idea what was going on half the time. It helps when you don't speak Albanian, but also when you do that false, here's the jury total, and you're like, oh well, wait, there's still one more juror to go. And you're like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, you don't know what's happening, because I posted that last night, like, get ready for the inevitable chaos of not knowing what's happening with these results. Because last year I remember thinking several times because they were announcing acts on stage, because obviously they hand out these awards as well. I don't know why, but last year it felt like they had 65 awards, and they just kept like asking artist after artist, and then the best producer and the best writer and the best this and the best that. And I was like, oh, is that the winner now? Or like, oh no, there's another one. There's another. Oh, is that the winner? So in that sense, it was good that they actually did this sort of like whole scoreboard thing, it made it more obvious.
Nothing will beat the reveal of Albania winning for me when they did it on CGI on the big tower. Outside
I don't think I saw that. I don't think I watched
it. Was wild. They just like superimposed her face. Like, that's how they did the reveal. They did like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and superimposed her face onto the tower. It was quite effective though, because you knew who had won.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny when you say that? If you talk about announcements of like winners and stuff like that in these competitions, this is obviously, sideswiping a little bit. Like, I remember when we used to do Junior Eurovision with Belgium, we had this sort of like a Euro song, but for kids, sort of like a national final. And for a few years, they did this thing where they made the finalists like they think it's the finalists, or like they did like duels, and then it was like, oh, we're going to pitch you against you and see which one got the most votes, and then one goes through and like stuff like that. And they would put them on a block, like a sort of like a color box with like LED lights inside. They'd put them both on a block, and then they would count down, and then one box would turn red and the other would turn green, and then the one that was on the green one would advance. So that was also like a really
the only way that
fun way to.
I want to know what would make that better? The red one being a trapdoor. Bye.
We're talking about kids here.
They actually, again, this is another sidestep, but you've just made me think of it. They did a dating show in the UK that was basically that. Like, they basically said, I don't want to continue dating you, and the floor would open up and they would just go. I'm like, could you imagine if like being on Tinder or Grindr was like that? You just went, nope, bye, never have to see you again.
Do you know that UK show, Naked Attraction?
Yes.
Where they basically, so someone, for those who don't know, so someone basically picks someone that they want to go on a sort of a date with, by
based on their genitals and
physical appearance. So basically, there's like, so say that there's a woman that needs to choose. There's like 6 men in glass boxes, and they're like obviously they're completely invisible, and then they sort of like lift up the door or something, or like the screen, and it shows their feet first, then their legs, and then their genitals and stuff like that. Could you imagine if like part where the genitals are revealed, it'd be like, no, press the button.
Channel 4, contact us. We've got a great idea for you. Give us a shout. We don't ask for a lot of money. Just yeah. Oh, okay. We went on a tangent.
How did we get here?
I don't know, but I love it so much. What's next? So basically, all we need to really do here, this is probably going to be after Christmas, but before New Year. So essentially, thank you. This has been the first year of Niallpoint. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been bumpy. We've not always gotten things done as well as we should have, but we live busy lives.
Yeah.
Well, I do. Sometimes you do.
Fuck off.
But we've got work and all the rest of it, so we do our best. I've really enjoyed doing the pod with yourself, Thomas. It's been a lot of fun. And, you know, we've had some really mental times interviewing Bambi, Windows, Nemo. We've got that video of you getting a hug from Nemo. It's one of my favourite things of this year. I'm still so gutted we didn't get to use that interview. But we've got that image. It's fantastic. But yeah, thank you everyone for sticking around. We've met quite a few of you. It's been lovely. And we hope to do more, despite not going anywhere. We hope to be able to do more for you guys over the next year and see what happens from there. So just thank you to everyone for that. That's all I want to say. Thank you for a good 2024.
Yeah, same. Like, what can I add? It's been an incredible year. It's still like we said this the other day as well. It's wild that it's been only a little over a year since we actually met each other in person for the first time. And look at where we are now. We're doing this podcast. We're doing reaction videos. We've interviewed people. We've done all these kind of crazy things. We've met a lot of lovely people. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's been watching, everybody who's been listening to the podcast, commenting. You know, we really appreciate it. So please keep on doing that. And we're going to try our very best for 2025 to bring you as much content as we possibly can. Might be a bit more from a distance this time. Sadly, we're not going to Eurovision this year, unfortunately, due to financial issues. But, you know, it's still going to be fun. We're still going to have a good time. We're still going to comment on all the songs.
I'm still paid for Eurovision 2024. I've got to say, I'm still trying to pay for that.
Yeah. Look, pinky promise, we're going to try and be there for 2026. If we can believe the odds, Belgium is going to win Eurovision 2025. So anyone that wants to come and watch, you're welcome to sleep on my floor. Just bring a sleeping bag. And
I'm going to superimpose the photo of when that odds went live here. This was Thomas's face. We were in Ghent.
Yeah.
And it was the funniest face I've ever seen anyone pull. Obviously, that's based on not a lot, but I have heard rumours. That someone had heard some of the Eurosong songs and they really enjoyed them. So I have heard that. Whether or not that's true or not,
yeah, I think Ariana posted that on Boost. You just don't know if it's true or if it's just someone trying to get attention. We'll have to wait and see. And also, what one person thinks is really good doesn't mean that everybody else will.
Exactly. Me and Thomas don't always agree. Have you seen
Exactly.
We're like an old married couple half the time.
But that's the fun of it, is that we don't always agree, and then we still have fun with it. So that should be the takeaway from Eurovision in any case.
Yeah.
You know. Also, I just want to mention before we go, I just did a little check of the calendar. By the way, if ever you want to know what's happening in Eurovision, just go to eurovisionworld.com. There is an amazing website. They provide a full calendar that gives you full details on when the songs for which national finals will be released, when the national finals are. They provide links to watch the national finals. So please go and have a look at that website.
You can also link it to your iCal as well. So it comes up in my iCal automatically. I've subscribed to it years ago and it's still there. It's fantastic.
It's a fantastic website. Just go and check it out. And I just checked their calendar. Apparently the next song that we get, unless one of the internal selections gets there before they do, would be the Luxembourgish entry, because Luxembourg Song Contest is set for the 25th of January. Obviously, we're going to get a lot of songs before that from some of the national finals, but that should be the next entry chosen.
We just forgot. We forgot. We didn't even discuss. Claude is going to represent Netherlands as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we did say that this was going to be
Albania, but yeah. That's just another update.
But yeah, Claude, let's quickly discuss it. Claude is going to Eurovision 2025.
It looked nice. I've not heard anything, but it looked cute. It looked like he gave a little, almost like a wink to the camera. Looked good. Also, what else has happened? Oh, una voce per San Marino is no more.
It's just San Marino Song Contest or something. Yeah.
I can say it. You can say it.
The thing is, you can say it now, but at the same time, I'm kind of sad that it feels like the end of an era. It's probably still going to be just as chaotic.
Oh,
but it feels like the end of an era. Also, I do want to point out about Claude representing the Netherlands. Euroguy, shout out to Euroguy, did provide a link to a song on Blue Sky, a song from Claude, and apparently Claude tends to mix English and tends to mix Dutch and French lyrics in his song, which could be very interesting because I don't off the top of my head, I can't remember Netherlands ever sending something in French, so that could be really cool.
Yeah, and you would understand. You speak both, so you'd understand it.
And they didn't send Anouk. Applause. If there's anything they did, it's not happening. If there's anything that the Netherlands did not need, it was more drama. So good on them for not doing that. I'm sure Claude is going to be. I feel like I really enjoyed the song that he sent. The link that I got. So just go and check out his discography. Maybe we can do a bit more on him in the next pod.
Maybe, yeah. Let's take a look, and we can maybe see some of the songs.
Why not?
You just reminded me of the time at Eurovision concert when Euroguy introduced himself to us, but he went, "Oh, you guys are Niall and Tomas." And we're like, "Oh my god, we're famous."
We're famous. I mean, look, he did recognize us.
Oh,
he recognized us. So, in a way,
what a year we've had. What a year. But yes,
and we did get recognized on the Wee Wee Blogs live stream, didn't we?
We did.
One of the highlights of the year.
Oh, there's so much we could talk about, but we need to draw this to a close because I'm going to have a time editing list. But yeah, again, sincerely, thank you to everyone. We love you so much. We do this just for the fun of it. So knowing that you guys are getting at least some enjoyment out of this makes it even better. And niallpointspod.com is where you go to find everything. And we will see you in 2025. Goodbye.
Bye.